In the late 19th century and early 20th century, the Mississippi Gulf Coast was the seafood capital of the world. The industry's success was aided by the most popular oystering boat at the time, known as the Biloxi schooner.
The little boat right there, that's a Biloxi lugger, and that's what these boats evolved when they chopped the mast out and put engines in. That's what they became, was boats like that.
In the 1990s, the Biloxi Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum commissioned the building of 2 replica schooners to serve as a connection to the city's history. They quickly joined the historic lighthouse as the city's living symbols.
They're around this area from about the 1860s to the 1930s. They'd go out to the oyster reefs, they'd pull a dredge. From about amidships on each side, they'd pull a dredge. They'd pretty much pull probably till the boat almost stopped. That's what started Biloxi. I mean, that's how Biloxi came to be, was from the oystering business.
In the early 1930s, when we were known as the seafood capital of the world, that was when the Biloxi schooner was in its heyday and was known as the workhorse of the seafood industry.
Starting right around here, it was just seafood factories all the way around, wrapped all the way around to the backside of the bay. And that's, I mean, honestly, until the casinos, that was, you know, tourism and seafood was the lifeline of Biloxi.
Well, there was, I mean, just a tremendous abundance of seafood here on the coast. And one hurricane after another has helped destroy some of that.
When Katrina struck in 2005, the schooners were a major concern. The crew did what little they could to protect them from the storm.
As the storm gets closer, they'll do mandatory evacuations, all the marinas and everything. We weren't at our pier yet. We were still down at Point Cadet, the marina down there. We brought the boats up to Chutecabuff River, and we were tied up about half a mile south of I-10, the bridge that goes over the Chutecabuff. Basically, you just pull them up, you find a little slough or somewhere, little sheltered trees or, you know, some hills on the sides of you. You tie them up to pine trees, throw some anchors out, and honestly, just pray for the best. The day after the storm, when we launched the little boat to come check on these, you know, on the way, probably had about, what, a 2-mile, 3-mile run up the river to get to the boats, and we didn't know what to expect, because there was, you know, you'd see a boat 40 feet up in the woods this way, you see a boat sitting in the trees over here, you'd see a boat sunk over on this side, you see a boat flipped over, and it was crazy. But we did fairly well where we were.
While the schooners survived the storm, the museum was entirely devastated. The concrete building that once served as the Coast Guard's barracks before becoming a museum was reduced to frame and rubble.
I never dreamed the building would be destroyed like it was. It had survived Camille, and I just knew there would be water in it, but it would be still here. Well, that wasn't the case. The walls were all blown out. We lost all of our exhibitry. It was completely gone. And then most of our artifacts, we probably saved about 30 to 40% of our artifacts that were in the museum. They were either here, still on the grounds under debris, or we found them miles and miles away from here. People would call us and we would just go searching in the debris fields looking for artifacts.
Nearly 2 months after the storm spared the schooners, the last remaining major artifacts in the museum's collection were publicly brought out of safe harbor.
About the beginning of October, we came out and took both boats, put full sail up, and came out the river, out the bay, all the way around the point, sailed down here, sailed past Beau Rivage, and went out just to let everybody know that we were still here. You know, the schooner survived.
We made sure all the sails were flying, and people were coming out of their homes on the river and waving and hollering and taking pictures because they were so excited that the schooner survived.
We didn't know if people were seeing us or not. You know, we were hoping they were, but we weren't really sure. It felt good to bring the boats home, I'll tell you that.
The phone calls that we got after that from people saying, wow, it was so good to see something survived.
The city's symbol is the lighthouse and the schooners, and those are two of the biggest two of the major things that survived the storm. We still have the lighthouse, still have the schooners, and just, I don't know, it just lets everybody know that Biloxi didn't get completely wiped out. We still here.